Hi, I'm Howard Tipton, Town Manager of Longboat Key, and welcome to Tip Talks. This is a regular video series where we talk about all things longboat, and I'm pleased to welcome Rick Kinsavage, who's the Managing Director of the Longboat Key Club, and Kim Veralt, who is the President and CEO of our Chamber of Commerce here on Longboat. And what we want to talk about today is the impact of some stormy weather that we've had over these last few months, and hopefully we won't have any more. And so when we think about the storm impacts and we think about our residences or our roads or the water or the power or whatever, but the businesses are right there with us. And so from the hotels to the shops to the restaurants, everybody gets impacted. And so just wanted to have you share, and maybe start with Rick, some of the experiences that the club had and some of those storm impacts, and then we'll talk about to Kim a little bit about, what are we doing, how are we seeing the recovery move forward?
Well, in my career, I've been through a lot of hurricanes and catastrophes, and this one was probably on the top, number one in my book. We had some substantial amount of water in Helene, surge. I've never seen anything like it. I stayed at the property actually, and I was filming it for my owners at the time, and they couldn't believe it. It looked like a tsunami coming over the banks and into the pool area and hitting our building up. At that point, I knew we were in trouble. So waking up in the morning to see what we saw, the devastation of Helene with the amount of water that came over from the Gulf all the way through the bay was unbelievable. I came over on a boat in the morning, the day after, and that's the only way you can get over here is by boat, and never seen anything like it. It looked like a northern blizzard snowstorm, but it was sand all over the Gulf of Mexico. But I will say that our first responders, our police department, our fire department, and so forth, were amazing. They were I've been through lived in different cities around the country, and they were on it all day long. We all participated and helped each other, no matter what it was. If it was food, I brought food from our club to feed our policemen that were standing there all day in the hot sun, and our fire department that were going after situations. So it was a big team effort. All our staff was there. They showed up because they really wanted to work. Get the place back into shape. They were shoveling sand. Waitresses, bartenders, whatever it was, were there shoveling sand, sweeping, whatever we could do to try to get the place back in working.
I appreciate you reminding us that Helene was really something we haven't seen for over 100 years. And the devastation and the impacts that it had were just so much more than anything that we normally or typically deal with. And so we have to kind of step back and go, yeah, it was all hands on deck exercise. Everybody was doing something that they probably weren't hired to do, but it was all meant towards getting, power back up, water on, streets cleared. What can we do to kind of get back open for business?
And I want to thank you, Howard, for your support. Just with power and getting the right answers, so rumors weren't flying around, and we had great communication. And if it wasn't for you, we wouldn't have been able to open our resort to our guests or get back in order for our club members. So thank you again for your support.
Well, I appreciate that. It was a team effort. It was a big team effort all the way around. So we're dealing with these storms, Kim, and we've got the hospitality side, but we've got shops and restaurants and our other businesses that are here as well. And let's talk about their impacts, and then let's talk about their recovery as well.
Sure. Of course, Helene was the storm, as Rick had said, that really created the bulk of the damage. And Milton followed, and there were other businesses and businesses that were impacted the first time that had more impact. I describe, when people are asking about how the businesses are doing, that there are some who were fortunate to be able to open right away. There were some that took weeks. There are some that are going to take months, and there will be some that will take longer. And unfortunately, there are going to be some that will not be able to reopen. And we at the Chamber have done what we could to this point to try to help them along. We started out with mirroring the town and the local counties in their messaging for safely evacuating and then returning to the islands. And from that point, we assessed what was going on. We heard lots of stories from people, from business owners. And many business owners not only were dealing with businesses that were challenged, but also in their own personal lives, homes that were challenged as well. And many are still contending with those challenges. I feel like we've kind of turned a corner and everybody knows and understands what they're facing now. And there's, people are rolling up their sleeves to get things done. They are relying on the help of the town and again, I would like to mirror Rick's comments about everything that you've all done to really make a difference. And it's amazing from day to day to see how much things are changing and moving in a positive direction. So huge thanks to all of the town departments for everything that you've done and for the law enforcement that you've brought in from so many communities to help you so that you can so that your departments can do their job on a daily basis.
Yeah, we've been fortunate to have a lot of support from around the state, and I think we, again, remind ourselves that it's a big event. It impacted Great Point about not only businesses, but also the person's individual homes as well. So they may be fighting the war on two fronts, which is not only difficult and taxing, but it's just exhausting because, it's just like I come to work and I see it and I go home and I see it. There's just no respite. So I think we give ourselves a little bit of time because it's going to take a little bit of time to really kind of catch our breath and kind of get back to Longboat the way that it was. I appreciate the note on the cleanup efforts, and I think the physical cleanup of the debris, whether it's the vegetation or the bulk items, whatever it is, I think that helps. As soon as we can get that out of the way, it kind of moves out of people's memories and we really start to fully on in the recovery. Emotionally as well, and I think that's a big part of it. So we're working really hard to try and get that done and clean some things up, but it'll take a little while. So the businesses are still in a recovery mode. We've got to make sure that we are promoting that we're open, and we're open for business. The beaches, we call the beaches were deflated, but they're still beaches and they're still beautiful. The water's still beautiful. And we want to make sure that people are coming out and shopping and eating locally. That's really what we want to end this story with, which is the folks on Longboat Key who are in business here to serve you are counting on you to come in and see them. And so that's the most important message that we have is let's get out to the hotels, let's get out to the restaurants, let's get out to the shops and make sure that they realize how much we support them and appreciate them. So Kim and Rick, one of the things that we have as part of our recovery process is kind of getting back to some events that kind of allow us to come together and celebrate being in Longboat, but also kind of celebrate the end of hurricane season and thinking about the holidays. And so Kim, why don't you tell us a little bit about what's coming up with you?
Sure. The very first event that we have coming up is Light Up Longboat. It's actually the 6th annual. It's going to be November 23rd, which is the Saturday before Thanksgiving. And it's an opportunity to bring joy to the community. It's time for us to turn that page and come together for something that's fun and special for the community.
So that's going to be at the Town Center Green?
Yes, this year it's going to be at the Town Center Green as it has in the past. However, we're utilizing the Karen Family Pavilion. There will be a band. There will be nonprofits and businesses there as vendors, and it's an opportunity for them to be front-facing with the public and for the public to see that they're here and open and ready to receive visitors and customers again.
Awesome. Well, we're looking forward to that event. Hopefully the weather will be spectacular. It is the Saturday before Thanksgiving, so it's a little bit different. We've done it previously the Saturday right after Thanksgiving, so we're moving it up to the front end of that holiday week. So that should be great for everybody. Rick, some of the events and things kind of starting to come back in your world?
Oh yeah, our golf courses are 100% open, all 45 holes of golf. All our tennis courts are open, pickleball courts, our marina's about 95%. And obviously the beach is amazing right now. There's been a lot of cleanup, but the water's great. Our restaurants are all fully open, doing very well and welcoming the guests. We have some big promotions for the next couple of months. Up to the December 12th, we have a 30% off for local residents at our Risotto Beach Resort and Longboat Key Club. So you can take advantage of that if you have family coming into town. We also have a St. Armand's is also going to have their Christmas tree lighting on December the 6th, which is a little right after you do that, so that they can come out and support the local restaurants and shops there, which they're struggling. They're having a really tough time. They're very demoralized from all the water damage on that. And that's kind of the gateway into our island. So we want to help them as much as we can, too, to help support the restaurants and the shops there. And again, a lot of them have been devastated by the water. They may not open. And the ones that are trying to open, they need some good moral support there and keep them going.
Yeah, we think about St. Armand's really as kind of our front door, and they were hit remarkably hard by a number of flooding events here really over the last 13 months or so. So we do want to get out there and support them. A wonderful place to walk around with the family and enjoy the lights in the evenings. I will say two things about the club. One, your golf courses were a lake. I mean, it was really the bay and the Gulf kind of coming together and meeting. Everything was underwater, and they look spectacular. But I mean, your team has done an amazing job. Risotto Resort, and I will just say they have one of the best hidden restaurants on the island. It's a great view, looking out, tropical open air, but the food is spectacular. So lots of things to celebrate, and one of the additional things that the town will be sponsoring along with the Chamber and our business partners is a free community concert on December 14th. That's an opportunity to celebrate the end of hurricane season. It's an opportunity to hopefully celebrate all the debris being picked up, but mostly it's an opportunity to come together and just enjoy the beginning of the holiday season. So we hope you'll be able to join us. You'll be able to see more information below me here about that event. But for all of these events, for all of our shops, all of our businesses, we thank you for your support and your patronage. Until next time, be well.